Well, you guys look forward to the trade deadline. Trade deadline day is like a national holiday in Canada.
It sure is.
Do people actually go to work on trade deadline day? And
I have to now. I used to skip it.
Steve goes to work for 8 hours for 45 seconds of airtime.
Wow, 45 seconds.
One of these days,
I got to put you in charge.
One of these days they'll use them. But yeah, I mean, but Allan, I mean, actually, this is interesting. So Allan, we all love that and free agent frenzy on July 1st. We love it. Yeah. How would you describe a player's perspective on free agency? How would they describe it to us?
It's interesting, but many players, they wait years to become an unrestricted free agent, right? At age 27 or 7 years of service to qualify for unrestricted free agency. Many guys sign contracts in their mid-20s, which buy up a year or two of free agency. So their first real experience at it might not be till they're 29, 30 years of age. And when we know a player is going to test the market, is going to free agency, we begin preparations, months and months in advance with the player and their family. As prepared as you can be, there comes a time when a player and the family need to make a rather quick decision. And after the fact, I've had many players say to me, a vast majority, man, that was the worst experience of my life. I hated it. The worry and indecision leading up to free agent day. And then while they're I had one player, I had one team on hold with the light blinking. And I had another team on the line, and I had the player on hold, and got a new offer, went back to the player, went back to the team on hold. Now I got two teams on hold, and I come back to the player, and I'm like, okay, here it is. This is the most we're going to get from either team. You need to make a decision. And the player said to me, can I get back to everybody tomorrow? Tomorrow, you've got 15 seconds, and the sheer panic. 15 seconds. I can't make that decision in 15 seconds. It's 10 seconds now. And you're making a life decision, and you've prepared for it for months. And sometimes, not always, but sometimes it still comes down to those 15 seconds.
Oh, man.
Absolutely unbelievable.
Yeah. I can't imagine a guy signing like a $50 million deal and going, that was the worst. I hated that. You know what I mean? But I'm sure it's happened. I'm sure. Like, there's a lot. And the thing is, too, like, and Allan, I think this has been a question that we as Leaf fans have had for a while, especially when, and I'm not going to ask specifics, but, when we went through the Nylander and then the Matthews and then the Marner, and, Nylander notably dragged into the season. Matthews was done relatively quickly behind the scenes, and then nobody saw it coming. And then Marner was, I think, 3 days before. In terms of was it 3 days before camp or something like that?
It was very soon.
It dragged on all summer, and we had to talk about it on the show, and it was obviously huge news. And frankly, after a while, you're like, God, do I still have to talk about this thing? And Steve made a comment, and I've always wanted to ask you this question. I remember him saying it then. I meant, if we ever have Allan Walsh on, I'm asking him. Steve said, what exactly do these people do all day? Like, why does it take that long to get the contract done, and then all of a sudden with 72 hours to go, got it, done?
Yeah.
What is it that makes this? And I realize that there's a huge process behind this, but if you could oversimplify it for the average fan like us who just doesn't get it, it's like, why don't you guys just go for lunch and go, Here's my number. Here's your number. Let's meet in the middle. Bang. What is it? What's happening?
I understand a few weeks. That was like 6 months.
Yeah, it was a long,
That's
long
what
time.
I'm saying.
You know, and it was literally, it started from when Darren Ferris made the comments about the Matthews deal.
February, I think.
In February till late September. So, Allan, what the hell do these people do all day?
Yeah.
I would say this, guys. Deadlines clarify the mind. And if you look at the history of deals getting done, a majority of deals get done not when you would want them to get done. They get done when there's a deadline, a critical point, a critical mass that approaches. And whether it's December 1, when a Group 2 restricted free agent turns into Cinderella at midnight, whether it's the footsteps of training camp, whether it's the footsteps of the start of the season, these are all different critical points where the pressure ramps up to that deadline. And you see in situations, you know, the easiest thing in the world would be like, okay, there's your number, there's my number, meet in the middle, done, just like you said, Adam. But that's not how negotiations work in the real world. Or else you wouldn't even need agents. You'd just say, okay, here's your number, here's my number, cut it in half and let's go. There's a whole process behind it, but you get deals that happen. Deals get done at a deadline.
Interesting. So when we talk about this, we can plan our shows. This is going to help us. So if we have ever got a young restricted free agent who is not signing, we'll just say we're going to leave that till the start of the season because that's around the time we think they'll sign.
Because deadlines clear the mind.
Exactly.
I like that very much. Hey, you know, speaking of liking something very much, I'm sure you like your job, but too bad I'm the emperor of everything and I make you commissioner of the National Hockey League.
Ooh.
I know, I'm sorry about the pay cut, but sorry about that. Yeah. But what are some things you, Commissioner Walsh, would change immediately?
I like this.
I know.
Day one, there will be a new NHL rule, strict liability, banning all hits to the head, period. Accidental, intentional, there's an automatic penalty for that. And I would do everything from day one, institute that rule, and then find ways to make the game safer for players. Number one mantra from anyone running the league today.
Wow. Allan, follow-up. What can be improved about the salary cap?
Well, you can blow it up.
That would be nice. So you're of the opinion that, and this is where I keep talking about, if you need to have a cap in place, why can't it be more like the NBA where you have a luxury zone and then a hard cap, like an absolute top spend for teams? So, you know, it forces richer teams to spend more, and you know, then that goes into the subsidy for the smaller market teams so they can spend more. What do you think? Like, would you have no salary cap at all? Probably. But if you have to have one, what does it look like in your mind? Very general. Obviously, we can't get into the granular stuff, but what do you think about that?
Well, back in 2004, Bob Goodenow had put together a very detailed proposal on revamping the NHL system that involved a luxury tax and meaningful revenue sharing. The irony is, in that kind of system, owners would have ended up making more money. It's been modeled out from 2005, all the way to the present day. And that system would have brought owners more money, more revenue than the triple hard cap system they rammed down the players' throats in 2005. You know, very short-sighted. They were going for total surrender. They got it from the players. but there is a sweet spot with a soft cap where you have a threshold number, and it could be tied to previous year's revenues. And then you have an area of taxation where if teams, Toronto Maple Leafs, spend into that area, they're going to pay a tax.
Yeah.
They're going to pay a tax. And that tax is, like you said, distributed amongst a group of smaller market teams. So the more you spend, the more you're putting money into your competitors' pockets, right? And that kind of system, there you see it. There is a limit to where any team will go. Mm-hmm. But having that kind of a system will allow teams like Tampa, like Toronto, like the New York Rangers, and you can go down the line, will allow them to retain their stars. You know, look at Tampa now, 2 cups, and they had to move several key pieces of their team this offseason. You know, why do you have to have a last dance after 1 year? Why can't you keep these teams together for 4 or 5 years? You saw what Chicago had to do. The more successful you are, the bigger you have to blow up your team to become cap compliant down the road. It doesn't make any sense. And there's a lot of GMs who are cheering for that kind of a system, you know, but Gary Bettman doesn't care what GMs think. He's got a constituency of 8 owners, and they rule the day. And the only way to get rid of the cap now is going to be a long lockout or strike.
Boy.
And you know, who's got the stomach for that today? I mean, right now, let's just get our game back to where it was. Let's get the pandemic behind us as quickly as we can. Let's get people healthy, hope they stay healthy, and that stuff will get figured out down the road.
So there's 8 owners in a 32-team league that run the league? Like a quarter of the league runs the league?
Pretty much, yeah.
Wow.
Cool. That's name names. I want them now.
No, he can't do that.
I tried. Don't say I didn't ask. I at very least tried.
Alan, yeah, that's pretty heavy. And the thing is, you're right. We don't want to see that go back. And so, man, I guess, you know, we've held you for 45 minutes here. So I don't know how much.
The next 45 should be just as fun.
I don't know how much more time you have, but we do want to say thank you for coming on. We hope this is not the last time, because this has just been spectacular. Love the stories and that sort of thing. And obviously, if you're available throughout the season, we'd love to have you back on just to talk about the goings on. And obviously, we are expecting several more viral tweets from your account, and hoping to see you again soon. So thanks so much for making time for us.